Hello and welcome back to AW Toolbox. My name is Glenn Keller, and in this video we're going to give you some tips and tactics for working in the command prompt for Teamcenter. So first of all, the command prompt is really your first interface for working with the Teamcenter environment. And the command prompt that we're talking about isn't your standard command prompt. The command prompt we're talking about is the command prompt that gets installed when you install the software. That's this one right here. If I open this, I'm going to run it as administrator. This command prompt sets a couple of things at the top. So this is called the Teamcenter Command Prompt. It calls tcroot, which gives you access to the DLLs and executables for the utilities. If I go into my tcroot location, I have tcroot, and what it's looking for is the bin directory, and this is where all of your utilities live. So if I come in here with this, I can run something like install-ayt, and install is a utility provided by Siemens. If I come in here and go to the eyes and scroll down a little bit, you'll see the install utility is here. If I open up a regular command prompt, run as administrator, you'll notice this does not set the lines at the top. So if I run install-ayt, nothing happens. It can't recognize what that command is. In this command shell, this gives us access to run different Teamcenter commands. Definitely take a look at the Siemens online help documentation for what utilities you can run. Another common one is to list users, which is a utility that provides access to see who's all logged into the system at any one time. In our case, it's administrative users and our dispatcher user, but it prevents us from shutting down a system without knowing who's actively in it. Each one of these utilities has multiple flags. If you do something like install-h in the utility, you'll get what arguments are applied for it. And remember to reference the online help documentation, as it'll give you scenarios and examples and what have you. Some of the output is extremely useful. So if I come in and I say export admin data-h, and I get the actual utility name, so it's export admin data or admin data export. If I come in here and search in here, admin data export is the name of the tool. So if I come in and say admin data export instead of export admin data, do a -h, it'll identify it. And it gives me a lot of feedback on different things that I can do with the utility. So Teamcenter command prompts utilities are used for everything from deploying files to checking FMS systems, to logging into the system, to updating preferences and organizational components, to running reports on the system. And a Teamcenter command prompt will help you on your way. For a couple of additional tips with working with a command prompt, and this is specific to a Windows command prompt, you can change directories by typing cd ... to go up a directory, and then you can say cd tc and use tab to auto-complete through the list of what you have typed. So if I wanted to cd into a directory, I could do that, or I could go one deeper and go into the bin directory. If you're changing drives, you need to say cd/d, or after the fact, you can say D drive, and that'll change the drive letter for you. If you hit the up arrow, it'll bring back previous executions, or down arrow, so that you don't have to type as much. And then in addition to that, if you ever see an environment variable, for instance, now that I've run tc profile of vars, I can say tc_, and with a set argument in front of it, it'll print out all of the environment variables in the list. Then you can use something like %environment variable %, if I can get the right letter, and it'll tell you the name or the path to that environment variable. So these are just a couple of quick tips in working with the command prompt in Teamcenter. The command prompt really gives you a lot of the mechanisms that you would need to interact with inside of the Active Workspace client or Rich client, and also provides a mechanism for you to do things in Deployment Center, like sending your configuration over to Deployment Center. It would need to know about some of these environment variables.